What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistics here. It's episode number 54. And we start today's episode off by officially changing the position of Martial Lalong. God, I love that name. As we change him to an attacking fielder. And look at the jump in the overall as well. Up to 69 rated now. And that's not a real surprise too. I mentioned before, you do often see an overall spike when you change a player to the position that best suits their attributes. As a striker, maybe you'd be alright as a false 9 with the lack of finishing ability and the great playmaking attributes he's got. He's an attacking midfielder, let's be honest here. So a quick jump up to 69 overall for the young Frenchman. He looks really decent indeed. And for the first game of today's episode, Newcastle United away at St James's Park in a dress rehearsal for the Carabao Cup quarter-final coming next month in December. And 9 minutes into the game, oh yeah, how glorious was this. Smith Rowe contended for goal of the season. Great cross at the back stick, and Emil drills it in with a left-footed volley to give us the early lead here in North East. So 1-0 Gunners. However, the mood would get dampened pretty quickly. 25 minutes into the game, long ball sent forward by the host. Ezri Konsa goes up for a header, and new man in, who we signed from Southampton in the summer, wins the aerial duel. But at what cost? Goes down, stays down, forced off on the stretcher. And we just saw in the last game, Mikel Merino forced off in our win over LASK Linz. Now, Konsa going down. He could not continue. Whenever you see the animations like that, you fear the worst and you think, that's probably an ACL. Konsa forced off there, and what a shame too, because he's been great since coming in from the Saints in the summer transfer, and of course formerly of Aston Villa and Brentford as well. Forced off there though, as it is still 1-0. But in the second half here, despite losing Konsa, we would get ourselves our second goal of the game. Josh Da Silva making it 2-0, getting his first goal of the campaign. A little bit of a lucky goal there. Lovely little triangle move to go through one off camera. Great save initially, but Da Silva turns in a rebound for his first of the year to make it 2-0. We'll get a lot more game time now with Mikel Merino down for 2 months. And unfortunately, speaking of going down, well, as you'll see by the league table here, as we end November, 33 points on the board, 2 behind Manchester City. So we're keeping pace with Guardiola's team, but for how much longer? We know these guys are the best in the game right now. Well, there's your confirmation. Unfortunately, Ezri Konsa did indeed suffer the ACL. We get one every single season. We didn't have one last year. We've got one this season. I mentioned before, I really hope in future versions of FIFA, there are more realistic, but also more variety in terms of the injuries you get. Because at times they are very, very similar and repetitive as well. But Konsa down for 7 months. He's finished for this season. That is pretty gutting, to be honest. He's started the season off really, really well, and he's been a great signing too. So I think we'll be okay. Again, we signed Ben White obviously in the summer from Aston Villa as well. Obviously, the youngster, Arian B, is really decent too. And we might possibly pick up a decent youngster from the academy at some point as well. But even so, Konsa down for 7 months, and it is still a pretty big blow. So what that means to the team now, with 2 long-term injuries, is that, again, Ben White will come in for Konsa. He is a rating higher regardless, and Da Silva will come in for Merino. Arian B will come onto the bench, and we'll also have Maitland-Niles on the bench as well. So it's a decrease. It's a bit of a downgrade in terms of our bench now. Not too much in the first 11 though. Da Silva is 2 ratings lower than Merino, but to be fair, I like him just as much as Mikel. And also, again, White is a rating higher than Konsa as well. However, this is again the reason why in the summer window that we had, I emphasised the need for more quality in depth. Because we're doing this save with the emphasis being on the realism aspect of it as well, it means that what we're looking for is, again, a realistic rate of injuries too. So as I mentioned before, whilst the injuries are frustrating, I give you guys these tips all the time. I genuinely do encourage you to up the injury sliders, because it makes the game more challenging, it makes it more immersive, and again, it makes it more lifelike as well. Because we are playing in the Champions League this year, because we're playing in Europe, you saw the fixture list we got for December. I think we've got 8 games coming this month, lots and lots of games to squeeze into just over 4 weeks. We're gonna get little injuries here and there, little knocks here and there. We've had a few bruises here and there, a few players going down with knocks, but also a couple more serious injuries as well. It's frustrating, don't get me wrong, but again, it's realistic, it's challenging, it's more immersive, it's the best thing to do. I definitely do recommend it indeed. So yeah, Merino down for 2 months, and now Konsa done for this season as well. But again, the reason why in the summer I talked about it, we needed more quality and depth to cope with the fixture congestion and also the inevitable injuries we're going to get. as well. And so for the third game of today's episode, Nottingham Forest here at the Emirates Stadium right now, starting the season off really, really poorly indeed right now in the bottom three. Feeling very confident indeed. They got the worst defensive record in the division right now as well. Harvey Barnes in this game, by the way, just at the heart of everything in this one as we were leading by 3. And then 10 minutes to go, played through by Luis Suarez and bags his hat-trick as well. I think I spoiled this, by the way, in the last episode when I said that Harvey Barnes had also had a hat-trick this season. This was the game where he got it. I actually thought it was in one of the earlier games. That was my apologies. But yeah, Barnes did get a hat-trick in this one. And that is his first in an Arsenal shirt. And what a start to the season as well. I think it's 4 or possibly even 5 goals in all competitions for Harvey Barnes already. Spent a lot of money to bring him in from Leicester. And right now he's on the bench as we don't want to change our fantastic front 4. But he's been brilliant in the games he's got. And again, a great option to have in midweek or coming off the bench as well. So on the back of the 4-0 win there, we did change Arlo Cunningham's position. He also had a slight increase in his overall to 66 overall. I've given him the poacher development plan for now. But again, he and Martial do look like pretty decent youngsters out of the academy. I'm still waiting for a standout. We're in our 5th season and I'm still waiting for a standout, a player that's got star power. I hope at some point we will find one. But for now, I'm just taking whatever I get, basically, because the players coming out of the academy, I mentioned before, in this year's FIFA, I've had quite a few, especially in the Cork save, of course. No one's going to forget Barry Sharkey and Leo Yates and Eamon Cunningham. In the QPR save, of course, none better than Charles Ball, but also Cameron Wilkinson as well. But I have struggled in this save, that's for sure, to get decent youth players out of the academy. Maybe, just maybe, we'll find one this season, but I'm starting to run out of time and starting to lose faith a little bit as well. So on the back of the big win there, we did have a goalless draw against the Clarets. Tough start for Burnley this season, but out of the relegation zone now and a big point there against us. I felt I should have won that game. We had some great chances in the second half, but Bailey Peacock Farrell made a couple of great saves, hit the bar through Reece Nelson as well in a goalless draw. And for the following game here, this was match day 6 in the Champions League group stage, and you would have seen by my lineup as well, I made, I think, 9 changes to the team. The only 2 regular first 11 players out there, Bern Leno and Luis Suarez. And the reason being was quite simple. We had to win this game and win it by 3 or more goals at the Parc des Princes if we were to leapfrog PSG and go top of the group and end as group winners. And the chance of us doing that was incredibly slim. And I thought, you know what, we've got Man City in 3 days' time. The biggest game of the domestic season so far. Yeah, forget this game, it's done. Qualification in the bag, I'm not too worried about it. Mbappe tore me apart, scored 3 goals in the game against one of our backup teams there. Well, much changed team, I should say. 3-0 PSG. We're not quite at PSG's level yet, regardless of what team we throw at anyway, so wasn't too surprised by that one. So it does mean we do indeed finish up as group runners-up. Not a real surprise. PSG absolutely dominating as we expected. But as we do qualify, we see the draw for the knockout stage where Arsenal have got... It doesn't get much easier, does it? The defending champions, the holders, one of the best teams in world football. Real Madrid in the last 16. Yep, I think our progress is probably going to end there. I can't see us getting through that. Real Madrid in the first knockout round of the Champions League. First leg at home, the second leg away, coming after Manchester City away. After one of the biggest games of the season, we'll then travel to the Bernabeu as well. But unbelievable, man. Last 16. Again, the Borders have reached the final. I thought that was a bit unrealistic for our first season back in the CL. I was targeting quarters to semis, but I think we'll do well to get there now. Round of 16, Real Madrid will be massive underdogs heading into that clash there against the Galacticos. So for the final game of today's episode, it was indeed the biggest game domestically this season. Manchester City at the Emirates Stadium. And I mentioned before, they're the best team in the game right now, or so it seems. They're certainly the best team in England. I believe they won the title every season apart from one. So facing them here at the Emirates Stadium, also facing one of the top scorers in the league, Romelu Lukaku, from Manchester to Manchester via Milan, taking him on here at the Emirates Stadium. Not feeling very confident, feeling quite pessimistic. I had a fully fit and fresh side raring to go, but I knew we'd still be underdogs. We conceded 2 goals in the first half. First through, Big Rom, the Belgian, making it 1-0, and then Bernardo Silva doubling it right before the break. And unfortunately, there are certain levels to this game at the moment I'm finding, where the teams that we're facing, again, there are just certain teams that are just a bit of a cut above us right now. PSG are definitely one, and these are the other guys, Manchester City. We were 3-0 down in the second half, and it was basically over at this point. I just couldn't compete, man. And again, this is why they're the best team in the save right now. If not in the save, then definitely in the country. Just could not stop them when coming forward. I've got a horrific record against Guardiola in this save right now, and that was going to continue. We're 3-0 down. Saka did get us back in the game. He gave us a glimmer of hope with 22.5 minutes to go, making it 3-1. So there was still something positive to take, if nothing else. And there was 6.5 minutes to go. Continue to press. Smith Rowe sends through Reece Nelson, and the number 11 keeps his composure, drills it past Ederson, makes it 3-2. And I was thinking, okay, 6 minutes on the clock to pull off the comeback of all comebacks and come back from 3-0 down to claim a point courtesy of Saka, Nelson, and maybe someone else. But sadly, just couldn't find that third goal, just couldn't find a leveller, and there it is, our second loss in the league this season. To be fair, the teams we've lost to, Man City and Liverpool, not bad teams to lose against, are they? Man City get the win by 3-2. Just could not stop them in this game. And again, we understand we're not quite at their level yet. We're not quite at Man City's level. We're not quite at PSG's level. And we have 2 games to go before the halfway point. We're in second place, but 5 points behind Guardiola's side. Best scoring team in the division right now as well. We are going to try and stay in the title race. The ball wants to win the league, but I'm not sure we're a match for Guardiola's side yet. But that was this episode of the Realistic CM, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, if you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Realistic CM very soon.